What really happened to Bill Cosby? Star in The Bill Cosby Show. Bill Cosby was born William Henry Cosby Jr. on July 12, 1937, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, U.S. He is one of four sons of Anna Pearl, a maid, and William Henry Cosby Sr., who served as a mess steward in the U.S. Navy at Fitzsimmons Junior High School. Cosby acted in plays and continued to compete in sports. Cosby attended Philadelphia's Central High School, a magnet school and academically rigorous college prep school, where he ran track and played baseball, football, and basketball. He transferred to Germantown High School, but failed the 10th grade. In 1956, Cosby enlisted in the Navy and served as a hospital corpsman at the Marine Corps Base Quantico in Virginia, at Naval Station Argentina in Newfoundland, Canada, and at the National Naval Medical Center in Maryland. He worked in physical therapy with Navy and Marine Corps personnel who were injured during the Korean War. Cosby married Camille Hanks on January 25, 1964. Together they had 5 children: Erica, Aaron, Ennis, Insa, and Evan. Their only son, Ennis, was murdered on January 16, 1997, while changing a flat tire on the side of Interstate 405 in Los Angeles. Cosby hosted the Los Angeles Playboy Jazz Festival from 1979 to 2012. Known as a jazz drummer, he can also be seen playing bass guitar with Jerry Lewis and Sammy Davis Jr. on Hugh Hefner's 1970s talk show. His story, The Regular Way, was featured in Playboy's December 1968 issue. Cosby has become an active member of the Jazz Foundation of America. Cosby became involved with the foundation in 2004. For several years, he has been a featured host for its annual benefit, A Great Night in Harlem, at the Apollo Theater in New York City. Cosby earned his high school equivalency diploma through correspondence courses and was awarded a track and field scholarship to Temple University in 1961. He began bartending at a Philadelphia club, where he earned bigger tips by making the customers laugh. He then began performing on stage. Cosby left Temple to pursue a career in comedy. He lined up stand-up jobs at clubs in Philadelphia and then in New York City, where he appeared at the Gaslight Cafe beginning in 1961. He booked dates in cities such as Chicago, Las Vegas, San Francisco, and Washington, D.C. In the summer of 1963, he received national exposure on NBC's The Tonight Show. This led to a recording contract with Warner Brothers Records, who in 1964 released his debut LP, Bill Cosby as a Very Funny Fellow. Right, the first of a series of comedy albums. His album To Russell, My Brother, Whom I Slept With, was #1 on Spin Magazine's list of the 40 greatest comedy albums of all time, calling it stand-up comedy's masterpiece. In 1983, Cosby released the concert film Bill Cosby himself, which is widely regarded as the greatest comedy concert film ever. Comedian Larry Wilmore also saw a connection between Bill Cosby himself and the later success of The Cosby Show, saying, "It's clear that the concert is the template for The Cosby Show." Cosby performed his first TV stand-up special in 30 years, Bill Cosby, Far From Finished, on Comedy Central on November 23, 2013. His last show of the Far From Finished tour was performed at the Cobb Energy Performing Arts Center in Atlanta, Georgia, on May 2, 2015. In 2014, Cosby was set to release his new stand-up special Bill Cosby 77 on Netflix. The release of the film was canceled due to allegations of sexual assault against Cosby. His last known stand-up performance prior to his conviction was held at the La Rossi Jazz Club in Philadelphia on January 23, 2018. On June 25, 2019, the New York Times Magazine listed Bill Cosby among hundreds of artists whose material was reportedly destroyed in the 2008 Universal fire. In 1965, Cosby was cast alongside Robert Culp in the I Spy espionage adventure series on NBC. I Spy became the first weekly dramatic television series to feature an African American in a starring role. I Spy finished among the 20 most watched shows that year, and Cosby was honored with 3 consecutive Emmy Awards for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series. During the series run, Cosby continued to do stand-up comedy performances and recorded half a dozen record albums for Warner Brothers Records. He also began to dabble in singing, recording Silver Throat, Bill Cosby Sings in 1967. In June 1968, Billboard magazine reported that Cosby had turned down a 5-year, $3.5 million contract renewal offer and would leave the label in August that year to record for his own record label. Right next month, Cosby narrated Black History, Lost, Stolen, or Strayed, a CBS documentary addressing the representation of Black people in popular culture. Cosby pursued a variety of additional television projects and appeared as a regular guest host on The Tonight Show and as the star of an annual special for NBC. In 1969, he returned with another series, The Bill Cosby Show, a situation comedy that ran for 2 seasons. Cosby played a physical education teacher at a Los Angeles high school. The show was a ratings hit, finishing 11th in its first season. After The Bill Cosby Show left the air, Cosby resumed his formal education. He began graduate work at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. For the PBS series The Electric Company, Cosby recorded several segments teaching reading skills to young children. In 1972, he received an MA from UMass Amherst and was also back in prime time with a variety series, The New Bill Cosby Show. However, this show lasted only a season. More successful was a Saturday morning cartoon, Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids, hosted by Cosby and based on his own childhood. That series ran from 1972 to 1979, then ran as The New Fat Albert Show in 1979, and finally ran as The Adventures of Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. During the 1970s, Cosby and other African-American actors, including Sidney Poitier, joined forces to make some successful comedy films to counter the violent blaxploitation films of the era, such as Uptown Saturday Night in 1974, Let's Do It Again in 1975, and in 1976, Mother, Jugs, and Speed, co-starring Raquel Welch and Harvey Keitel. In 1976, Cosby starred in A Piece of the Action with Poitier and California Suite, a compilation of 4 Neil Simon plays. He also hosted Cos in 1976. In addition, he produced an hour-long variety show featuring puppets, sketches, and musical numbers. It was during this season that ABC decided to take advantage of this phase of Cosby's career by joining with Filmation producers of Fat Albert to create live-action segments starring Cosby for the 1964-1971 animated film Journey Back to Oz. It subsequently aired in syndication. Cosby was also a regular on children's public television programs starting in the 1970s, hosting the Picture Pages segments that lasted into the early 1980s. Cosby's greatest television success came in September 1984 with the debut of The Cosby Show. The show had parallels to Cosby's actual family life. Like the characters Cliff and Claire Huxtable, Cosby and his wife Camille were college-educated and financially successful, and they had 5 children. On the show, Cosby played the role of an obstetrician. In 1987, Cosby attempted to return to film with the spy spoof Leonard Part 6. Although Cosby himself was the producer and wrote the story, he realized during production that the film was not going to be what he wanted and publicly denounced it, warning audiences to stay away. Later in the 1980s, Cosby served as an advisor to the Los Angeles Student Film Institute. After The Cosby Show went off the air in 1992, Cosby embarked on a number of other projects, which included a revival of the classic Groucho Marx game show You Bet Your Life, the TV movie I Spy Returns, and The Cosby Mysteries. In the mid-1990s, he appeared as a detective in black-and-white film noir-themed commercials for Turner Classic Movies. He made appearances in 3 more films, Ghost Dad, The Meteor Man, and Jack, 1996. In addition, he was interviewed in Spike Lee's 4 Little Girls, 1997, a documentary about the 1963 racist bombing of a church in Birmingham, Alabama. Also in 1996, he started up a new show for CBS, Cosby, again co-starring Felicia Rashad, his on-screen wife on The Cosby Show. Cosby co-produced the show for Carsey Werner Productions. Cosby also hosted a CBS special, Kids Say the Darndest Things, on February 6, 1995, which was followed after as a full-season show, with Cosby as host, from January 9, 1998 to June 23, 2000. After 4 seasons, Cosby was canceled. Its last episode aired on April 28, 2000. Kids Say the Darndest Things was terminated the same year. A series for preschoolers, Little Bill, created by Cosby as a semi-biographical representation of his childhood growing up in Philadelphia, made its debut on Nickelodeon in 1999. The network renewed the popular program in November 2000. In 2001, Cosby's agenda included the publication of a new book, as well as delivering the commencement addresses at Morris Brown College, Ohio State University, and at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. Also that year, he signed a deal with 20th Century Fox to develop a live-action feature film centering on the popular Fat Albert character from his 1970s cartoon series. Fat Albert was released in theaters in December 2004. In May 2007, Cosby spoke at the commencement of High Point University. In the summer of 2009, Cosby hosted a comedy gala at Montreal's Just for Laughs, the largest comedy festival in the world. A new NBC show scheduled for 2015, created by Mike O'Malley and Mike Sikowitz, and to have been produced by The Cosby Show's Tom Werner, was set to feature Cosby as Jonathan Franklin, the patriarch of a multi-generational family. On November 19, 2014, NBC scrapped Cosby's new show after accusations resurfaced that he sexually assaulted and raped women. Reruns of The Cosby Show were pulled from television as a result of Cosby's sexual assault allegations. On November 19, 2014, NBC and TV Land both ended their relationships with Cosby. TV Land announced that it was pulling reruns from its schedule and also removing clips of the show from its website. In July 2015, broadcast network Bounce TV pulled reruns, and Bet-Centric stopped airing reruns, and creative artists agency, Cosby's agency since 2012, dropped him as a client. During his acting career, he regularly received allegations related to rape, sexual assault due to drug use, sexual abuse, child sexual abuse, and sexual misconduct, the earliest of which were said by his accusers to have taken place in the mid-1960s. Recently, on June 23, 2020, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court ruled Cosby would be able to appeal his sexual assault conviction based upon questions on testimony from a witness being more prejudicial than probative. The court will hear his appeal on arguments of whether it was proper for 5 prosecution witnesses to testify in the case, and include a deposition that Cosby admitted to giving quaaludes to other women in the past. The court also agreed to review whether a former prosecutor had informed Cosby that he would not be prosecuted for the assault, which resulted in Cosby's agreeing to testify in his accuser's civil lawsuit. Thank you for listening to the story about the life of Dick Van Dyke.